Stargate, as a franchise, has 10 seasons from SG-1, 5 seasons from Atlantis, 2 seasons from Universe, a season of Infinity, and a season of Origins. That's a lot of ideas to work through, and to be fair, that's a lot of plot lines that will eventually need to be resolved. Whether it's the nature of the 4 races of the Alliance, or the lasting impact of the replicator attacks throughout the Milky Way galaxy, there are plenty of questions that we still have all these years later. I am Sean Ferrick from What Culture, and these are 10 Stargate storylines that were never resolved. 10. Are the Ritu still out there? The Ritu are a mostly peaceful race who have been hunted almost to the point of extinction by the Goa'uld. There are rebel factions of them who try to fight back against them, not by attacking them head on, but by destroying all potential hosts for the Goa'uld instead. With the help of the Tok'ra, they are stopped, though this leaves Charlie, the human raised by a Ritu who came to warn the SGC about an incursion, in the position where he's dying. He is sent off to the Tok'ra so that they can put a symbiont in him to help save him, and that's it. That's the end of the story and the end of the Ritu plotline. Did Charlie survive? Or did the blending process fail? 9. What did the teenage Jack O'Neill clone grow up to do? In the 7th season, a rogue Asgard named Loki is revealed to have been experimenting on humans for almost 20 years. This comes to light when a teenage version of Jack O'Neill arrives at the SGC, believing himself to be the real O'Neill, even if no one else believes him. It takes some time and a lot of comedic proofs, but it is discovered that he is a clone of O'Neill. The clone O'Neill goes back to high school, though with 30 years of military training and experience in his mind. Another Jack O'Neill running around out there would be a plot thread that should at least be checked up on, if nothing else. 8. Where is Sarah? Daniel's old colleague in Flame, Sarah Gardner, is taken as a host by the Goa'uld Osiris, whom she had inadvertently freed from mummification. She goes on to become something of a recurring villain in the series. Now, Sarah is eventually freed from Osiris's control and is presumably debriefed by the SGC and allowed to return to civilian life. However, this is the last we ever hear of her. While keeping her locked up is clearly not an option, with her knowledge and everything Osiris saw and did, she could at least have been a fantastic asset to the SGC, leaving her to return to normality, or as much of normality as a post-Goa'uld possession could be, seems like a misstep for the character. 7. Did Daniel ever check up on his granddad? In the episode Crystal Skull, Daniel Jackson spots an artifact through mouth telemetry that is reminiscent of something his grandfather, Nicholas Ballard, discovered years previously. In that encounter, Ballard claimed to have been transported to an alien world after coming into contact with the titular skull, though he was mocked by the academic community when he tried to publish this. When Daniel vanishes after coming into contact with the new skull, Ballard is brought into the SGC to help in the search. They all travel back through the gate to the planet where they found the skull. Ballard convinces the aliens present that they are not a threat and elects to remain behind. And as far as we know, he is still on that planet with those aliens. Might be worth a phone call. 6. When are we going to see the Furlings? Thanks in large part to the actions of SG-1, humanity becomes a power to be reckoned with in galactic conversations. They draw the attention of the Asgard, who inform them of a great alliance between 4 major races: the Asgard, the Ancients, the Nox, and the Furlings. The hilarious episode 200 imagined a race that were reminiscent of koala bears, doomed by a catastrophe that Samantha Carter wasn't able to prevent. But in actual run of the show, they have either become extinct or moved on to another part of the universe. Considering that humanity was well on its way to becoming the 5th race in the Alliance, it really would be nice if we could eventually meet the 4th race. 5. There are 5 ZPMs in the Pegasus Galaxy. In the first season of Atlantis, the expedition encounters a cryogenically frozen, and seriously old, version of Dr. Weir. She came from an alternate timeline where after her expedition arrived at Atlantis, they were almost all immediately killed. She only escaped thanks to time travel, as you do, and went back in time to the Ancients. There, Atlantean scientist Janus helped her remain behind after the rest of his people leave, establishing a failsafe to protect the Prime Weir and her team from suffering the same fate as this alternate Weir. Oh, and he gives the location of 5 ZPMs spread throughout the Pegasus Galaxy, 3 of which, however, by the final episode of the show, seem to have been entirely forgotten about. 4. Are all of the Tolan dead? The Tolan were an extremely advanced race, one which Daniel Jackson speculated had descended from humans kidnapped by the Goa'uld thousands of years prior. When Anubis returned to the Milky Way galaxy, he sent his emissary Tanith to Tulana, shattering their deeply held belief that they were more advanced than everyone else. Anubis' ships managed to withstand fire from the iron cannons dotted around the planet. The Tolan are quickly forced to develop weapons that will pass through barriers, including the SGC's Iris, until these weapons are destroyed by SG-1. This results in an all-out assault on Tulana, resulting in almost total destruction of the planet. This is a story that has not been revisited on screen. In the expanded universe, a colony of Tolans survived, and that is something that is not hard to believe, especially with their advanced tech, Their weapons may now be outdated, but there is a lot of other tech that could be used left. 3. Did anyone ever return to take on the Wraith? In the series finale of Atlantis, the miraculous, read as the show was cancelled and they needed to wrap up the journey, invention of wormhole drive is created by McKay, allowing the city ship to transport to Earth's orbit to destroy a ZPM-powered Wraith hive ship and save the day. However, the Atlantis expedition entirely accidentally is responsible for unleashing the Wraith on that galaxy again, as it was they who woke the Wraith early. Their escape to the Milky Way galaxy was a fantastic escape for them, but it then leaves the rest of the humans in the Pegasus galaxy to the mercy of the Wraith, a species who are not well known for their mercy. By the series close, there are around 20 active hive ships in the galaxy. Someone really should do something about them. 2. Is the Destiny still out there? Stargate Universe divided the fans as it took on something of a darker tone, resembling the reimagined Battlestar Galactica. The darker tone made it a harder pill to swallow, and subsequently, low ratings forced the show's cancellation at the end of the second season. As of the writing of this post, the Destiny is still on its journey to the next galaxy, and Eli is still on his own on the ship. This is the kind of story that begs resolution. While budgets etc. might preclude a full third series, a standalone feature to help tie up the ending of the series would be perfect. And 1. Did they ever move Atlantis? The final shot of the series sees Atlantis having returned to Earth and, due to a battle with the Wraith hive ship in orbit, is forced to land on the surface, specifically in San Francisco Bay. It makes for a gorgeous last shot, with the cast all standing on the balcony looking out at the Golden Gate Bridge, happy to be home. The issue? While the city is cloaked and no one can actually see it, it can't remain where it is because the first boat to stumble into its path is going to crash right into it. This is a relatively simple fix. In any follow-up series that we may receive, one that should pick up on almost all threads broken down on this list, Atlantis could become the new base of operations for the SGC. It is with the sincere hope that this list has been written. Please bring back Stargate and give us the follow-up that we want. And that is it for our list of 10 Stargate storylines that were never resolved. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, Jaffa Cree.
The Force is with us. What Culture Star Wars is our brand new channel dedicated to all things Star Wars. We'll have all the usual lists, features, and news, plus there'll be ups and downs for all the latest shows and movies, and coverage on Star Wars novels and comics. Subscribe today via whatculture.com/Star Wars or search What Culture Star Wars on YouTube.